Air Berlin, Monarch, June, Primera, Cobalt, Germania, and now WOW Air. These are just some of the airlines that have collapsed in recent months and years, being forced to close their doors and cease all operations. Last year, we saw the collapse of over 40 airlines worldwide, and now just a few days ago, WOW Air has joined the pack, completely ceasing operations and leaving passengers stranded with little to no compensation. All of these airlines promised affordable, cheap fares, and yet all have vanished from the scene. So why is this happening? Why are so many airlines suddenly collapsing? Well, it's all centered around the idea of scale and competition. Today, the airline industry is so cutthroat that in order to stay relevant, one not only has to have a competitive and often rather aggressive business model, but also a large enough scale to do so. These two concepts go hand in hand because in order to even be competitive, you have to have had enough time to assert yourself and build up your airline. This is why relatively small airlines such as WOW Air collapse so easily. They lack the required scale to take big financial hits and still operate comfortably. Moreover, they are constantly being squeezed out by their competitors, so they seldom even have the chance to build themselves up. Take an airline like American, for example, one of, if not the largest airline in the world. Even if they do see a sudden slump in sales, say from the recent groundings of the 737 MAX, they can still easily take the hit because the crux of their revenue comes from other sources, whether that be business class travelers, corporate contracts, or other things. In contrast, a budget airline's primary chunk of revenue comes from price-sensitive leisure travelers, who are always looking for discounts. So while nobody would ever expect an airline like American to suddenly collapse, the stability of an airline like WOW Air could be questionable. Now, it's also no coincidence that the airlines I mentioned in the beginning are all based in Europe, a country with one of the highest concentrations of low-cost carriers in the world. With airlines like Ryanair and EasyJet offering flights for as little as €10 each way, they effectively give other airlines very little ground to stand on. This results in smaller airlines scrambling to compete, lowering prices, and subsequently putting themselves in greater financial danger. Also, an advantage that larger carriers have is the ability to negotiate discounts on pricey items such as jet fuel, allowing them to save a lot of money. This is something smaller competitors are unable to do, simply because, again, they lack the required scale to do so. And then there's also other complications, such as pilot shortages, crew strikes, and even terror attacks in foreign countries, that can also wreak havoc on airlines, particularly those most financially vulnerable. Monarch Airlines, for example, when they were still in operation, were forced to temporarily avoid destinations such as Tunisia and Egypt due to periods of said terror attacks. But beyond all of this, I think a major issue for why airlines are either struggling or going bust is largely due to their lack of flexibility, of being able to adapt quickly in the industry. Since things always have a natural tendency to evolve, airlines need to maintain that same level of relevance in order to stay competitive, or otherwise they will fall under. So that brings me to asking you, why do you think so many airlines have been collapsing recently? Let me know in the comment section below. Anyhow, I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you all very soon.